Before I begin, I'd like to have all of your attention. I'd like for you all to imagine the death of a loved one. Imagine the death of a child, a pet. Imagine those sad SPCA commercials, or the Hungry Children commercials, and let those tears flow down your beautiful West Island faces. I'd like to thank you all for coming out to the Dinner with TJ presents the Wendy's funeral. In case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Reverend Dinner with TJ. Dinner with TJ is a YouTube show that features me and my eating disorder. What you guys don't know is I only eat 5 foods. And what Wendy's didn't know is that that was my favorite hamburger location. So if you're gonna close it down and expect me to sit by idly and not do anything, you're dead wrong, Wendy's. You're dead wrong. You cannot cut me just to watch me bleed. Amen.
Amen.
Sources Wendy's will always hold a piece of my heart. It was my first burger, and it was the best burger I ever had. And ever since then, I've been chasing that dragon. And the only thing that's ever come close was Sources Wendy's. Was it the atrium? The dirty carpets? Or was it just Sources Wendy's? Sources Wendy's, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I want to make it clear, we're here to show our respect for not only the best Wendy's in the world, but also the best Wendy's in the West Island. It's not a knock on you, High Miss Wendy's. You tried, you had good intentions, you had goodwill. But unfortunately, you were not this Wendy's. Some of you might think it's crazy that I'm holding a funeral for a restaurant that's not even dead. For a restaurant that's only renovating. But to you all, I want to use this analogy. Close your eyes and imagine a father and a child throwing a ball in a field. Then he calls over his son and he puts his hand on his shoulder and he says, "I killed mommy." Does that mean he says he's killed his mom and he's getting married to a new hotter mommy? But I ask you, does that kid have a new mommy? No. Do I have a new Wendy's? No. Amen.
Amen.
I already know this new Wendy's will not be the same. And all of us West Islanders already know it as well. You might ask, how do I know it's not going to be the same? Because I live in Vaudreuil, 5 minutes away from another Wendy's, and I still choose to drive 20 minutes each way at least twice a week. If you're trying to figure out the math, when you factor in the gas, I'm spending 27.4% more for my Wendy's than all of you. If you want a dollar amount, I'm spending $28,000 a year at this place. Some of you might think with those numbers, technically I'm paying for these renovations, so I'm only hurting myself. But with those kind of numbers, I expect to be used as a consultant. My mom was concerned when she found out I was holding a funeral and that I was going to be dressing up like a priest. She was worried because she knows that I swear. And she was worried that this would be my ticket to hell. And I told my mom as I looked in her eyes, I said, a world without Sources Wendy's means we're already living in hell. It's purgatory, Jack. Amen.
Amen.
And when I try to think of why this would happen, I want to point a finger, but not at any of us, not at myself, not at you, or any of us. I want to point my finger in that direction, at A&W. You think you're so cute with your burger family, but we all know what you did. You opened up in a parking lot and you faced Sources Wendy and you scared her, you intimidated her, and you pushed her into these renovations. Your family is nothing but a bunch of bully burgers. Your baby burger's too small, means it has deformities. Your dad burger is too fat and he wears too much plaid. Your teen burger is too junky. And your mama burger is a slut. Amen.
Amen.
I want to share with you guys some of my favorite Wendy's memories. And I'm going to go back to my first one ever. I remember driving here with my mom in the car. She pulled over. She looked back at me while I sat in my baby seat. She said, "Are you ready for the best fucking Wendy's your fucking face ever fucking ate?" And she wasn't lying. It was the best fucking Wendy's my fucking face ever fucking ate.
Amen.
Amen.
It's okay from that point on. I remember telling my wife the day we first met each other. I told her there was another lady in my life. I told her about Source's Wendy's. I said, there's a freckled girl. Her dad is rich, he's smart, she dresses kind of old-fashioned, but she makes a great burger, she has a perfect set of tits. I told my wife once she met Source's Wendy's, she would understand. And I was right. On our second date, we came here. That night, we had a threesome. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I remember once I came here and I ordered a hamburger plain with only bacon. I drove away, opened up my burger, and it was only bread and bacon. They forgot the burger. I drove back around, I told them, they gave me a Frosty, and we shared a chuckle. I remember rushing here on New Year's Eve one year, and they were closing. He had his key in his door, and I yelled out loud, "Let me in, I'll give you some weed, or you can have a night with my wife." He chose the weed. And that night, I had those hamburgers in this parking lot and fucked my wife. Some might say that Wendy's isn't a better place. But is she? I don't think there's food in heaven. How can you enjoy a fake angel hamburger when you don't even have a real stomach to hold it? That's just crazy talk. I'm going to ask you all for a moment of silence. There's some people that couldn't be here because they live out of town. And I asked them to write some eulogies, so I'm going to read you my three favorites. First one was my buddy Scott Glass. He says, "I'm sorry to hear about the loss. As we struggle to make sense of it all, in the aftermath, I ask that only you remember old Wendy's would not want us to suffer. As the days turn into weeks, the weeks turn into months, we must remember to remember all the good times that we shared together. Frosties that were slightly too runny, the result of aging refrigeration systems. Fake plants in the atrium. A wise choice by management to compensate for the darkened skylights with bubble tint paper. 80-degree angle ramp that I'm standing on now that we'd have to enter coming in from this street to Salaberry. God knows that Scott bottomed out here once or twice. Those are the memories that we need to hold on to. Those are the memories that we need to share. None of us were ready to see her go. But she had a good life, a full life. So goodbye to my precious aging 1980s franchise. Gone, but not forgotten. Amen.
Amen.
My buddy Mark Itala wrote, "It's been said that time heals all wounds." And I do not agree. The wounds remain in time and in mind, protecting its sanity, covers them with scar tissue, and the pain lessens, but it's never gone. I do agree, we replace the old Wendy's with the new, it won't be the same. This is not only for food, but technology. Condolences. Jeff LaFlamme wrote in and he said, "They say in life that you don't regret the things you did. never got to know the West Island Wendy. He would just pass her, barely glancing in her direction at her buns or her tasty treats. Always too much in a hurry, never giving her the time of the day. And I never knew she meant so much to so many of us. And I guess he just took it for granted that someday if he ever wanted a fresh, not frozen meal, this would be here for him. But sadly, he was wrong. She will not always be waiting for him. Every morning, lunchtime, late night drive-thrus are all things that he's never experienced. And hopefully, you can all take something away from his mistakes and be happy that you got to experience Source's Wendy's like he never did. Amen.